Hello there, welcome to our swatching session with the beautiful Derwent Pastel Pencils. Today we're going to be testing these vibrant colours on pastel matte paper, a surface known for its beautiful velvety texture and ability to hold multiple layers. Whether you're a seasoned artist or just exploring the world of pastel pencils, this video will give you a closer look at how these pastels perform on pastel matte paper. The Derwent Pastel Pencils are known for their soft texture and vibrant pigment. They come in a range of colours that are perfect for layering and blending. We'll be using this pastel matte paper. So just a top tip for you, I have a tea towel and I just dampen it a little bit so I can keep the tips of my fingers clean. So every time they get dirty I can just quickly do that rather than going washing my hands all the time or getting pastel everywhere in muddying colours. So here we have the Derwent pencils. If you've used pastels before, you know how messy they can be, but these pastels are a great way to get the pastel look without the extra cleanup, and you can get a bit more precise details, especially if you sharpen them to a fine tip. Now these pencils are drastically different to the Caran ones. I have a couple with me, let me just show you. As I said, traditional pastels can be quite messy. Case in point. So I just have a couple there, and then I'll show you. These need sharpening as well. But yeah, so the Derwent Pastel Pencil is a completely rounded barrel and painted all the way along with the colour indication on the top as well as the code and the name of the pastel as well. Whereas the Derwent one, Caran ones are a hexagon shape to stop them from rolling. They don't roll at all, whereas the Derwent ones, you can see they do want to roll. And obviously with the being pastel, they will break in the barrel very easily, so I think that's a very smart decision from Caran. But yeah, I'm just showing you the difference between the two. So yeah, so painted barrel, name of the colour, the code, and then the colour on the tip as well. But however, these ones are easier to sharpen with them being around a barrel. And this is the pastel matte paper. I love its soft velvety texture. It really helps pastels to stick, and it's great for getting multiple layers. Can you hear the noise? That velvety thing, but it doesn't feel gritty like sandpaper. It's so much softer than that. The reason why it's cut to this size and shape is because this is how I use it in my pastel sketchbook that I've made. I'll leave a link in the description and in the cards above for that video if you want to see how I made that and why I made that. It's got a bit of a unique feel, but once you get used to it, it is great for building up your artwork. And it's great also for using normal coloured pencils like Luminance or all the other brands have escaped my mind at the moment. But yeah, just normal wax or oil coloured pencils will work on this really well. And let's get swatching our first colour, which is the Vanilla PO10. Now the reason I like to use a mid-brown pastel matte for swatching is so you can really see the light colours as well as the dark colours, as well as the mid-tones as well, a lot of the mid-tones. It was funny because with the Caran one, I got one that actually matched the colour. So that was interesting. So let's see which Derwent one matches these colours. And there we go, we have our first colour. Now, let's have a little play, shall we? Now, one of my favourite things about these pastel pencils and pastel mat is how well they blend. So, let's have a little play, shall we? What shall we blend? Let's blend a red into a yellow. Let's do it up here. So I'm just layering down a layer of the red and then a layer of the yellow. And I'm just gonna go over each one just a little bit. And then just using my finger is showing how easily you can get an orange already and how easy they blend. Mix more of the yellow over there. And a bit more of the red that way. very easy to blend. And now I've just blended that orange off. Let's just do that again. Make sure my hand's clean. On my finger you can see it's created an orange pigment. Let me show you a little bit of layering as well with these. Let's do a super dark blue. So I'm using the Prussian blue. That's not that dark, but it's darker than what I'm going to use over the top. So we've got a nice little bit of colour there. I have noticed with the Derwent on the pastel mat though, you do get a lot more the word I'm looking for, dust. You get a lot more of the dust. So I'm just going to use this deep cadmium over the top. And already you can see that it's showing up on the blue, and it's even starting to mix as well because I'm going quite hard, but then you can go super soft as well. The paper is great for layering too, so you can build up your colours without them getting muddy or losing their brightness. It's pretty forgiving, which is nice if you like to experiment with your layers. So I'm just going to show you. I'm just going to put down a solid colour. And then put a pink over the top as well. Just like so. So if you want to erase anything or get any highlights perhaps, or just make something slightly lighter, so tone it down a little bit, is you want a kneadable eraser, when I can get it out of its little box. Make sure you warm it up in your hands and get it really going. I'm just going to blow off the dust. There. Then what you want to do is just dab, and it eventually just lifts off the colour for much lighter. And then if you want it completely gone, you can rub just a little, but not too heavy. And because the pastels are super opaque, you can then go over that so it completely disappears. Let's use a white to show you that, you know, it's easy to go over. So it's very forgiving. So depending on how, I'm going very light with the pressure, so you're still getting quite a solid colour with the light pressure, and that was super light. But you can see the colour of the paper coming underneath. But of course when you go heavy pressure and you get that noise, you get completely opaqueness and full solid colour, but obviously you get the dust as well. So just bear that in mind. And then obviously let's just try sort of like a mid pressure. So yeah, got mid pressure there. So you're still achieving a solid colour, but it does cover the tooth of the paper. It does cover the paper underneath. This, using different pressures, this will give you a lot of control over how your final piece will look. You can go from subtle to bold by just adjusting the pressure. So again, super versatile. Here, let's have a look at all the colours we've swatched today. I'm really impressed with how vibrant and blendable these pencils are on the pastel mat. I mean, I don't remember seeing any of these colours with a Caran d'Ache. In fact, let's do a little comparison, shall we? Because I have the Caran d'Ache with me. The swatches, that is. So yeah. Oh no, the two. Yeah, definitely different colours compared to the Caran d'Ache. But also, I'm noticing actually that the Caran d'Ache, yeah, I think you can see it on camera as well. The Caran d'Ache is much bolder and more vibrant than the others. I mean, even just taking the yellows together, you've got a bigger variety as well in the oranges, and then even the greens. And then the neutrals are on the back for the Caran d'Ache. But even the, I mean, look at the black. Hopefully the sun's not blowing it out. But yeah, that, I didn't realise that. But obviously when you're just using the Derwent ones, you're not going to notice it too much. It's only when you compare them. But they lay down super opaque and just as powdery and nice as what I like anyway. So yeah, that's good to know. Pop that one back. So yeah, I'm just thinking what are my favourite colours from here. This green immediately is speaking to me. It's just popping out at me, screaming at me. Which is the 430. But I'm not sure what I'd use that for. But these two greens, I know what I'd use those for. Because they're more the earthy tone greens, as well as these here. I tend to shy away from reds. I don't tend to use much reds in my work, but I definitely use a lot of greens and some blues. But yeah, I do tend to stick to the earthy tones, but it's nice to have the bright colours as well, because I've learned to sort of mix them together, especially like the opera. You get some very interesting effects with that. I'll explain that in another video at some other point. But yeah, I'm really pleased with these Derwent pencils. They're a great alternative to the Caran d'Ache ones in terms of price, for sure. If you've watched my videos before, you know I'm not in my normal studio space. So I've taken these on the train. I've just popped them in my suitcase and they've not moved. I've just wedged them in my suitcase in the tin. So they're more portable for me than the Caran d'Ache box that I've got, that's a presentation wood box. So they travel well as well, if anybody wants to know. But yeah, thanks so much for hanging out with me today. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more art fun. Let me know in the comments what you'd like to see next. Until then, keep creating, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for joining me in this swatching session. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe for more art supply reviews and tutorials. Until next time, happy creating!